Exploring Modern Poetry. My name is Romy Quijada Pulentas from Talacugon, Agusan del Sur, but working in Butuan City at St. Joseph Institute of Technology as college instructor for 3 years already. It's already my second year as Master of Arts in Literature. So for the outline of the report, I will first discuss the brief history of modern poetry, followed by the definition of modern in the phrase modern poetry. The third, characteristics of modern poetry. Fourth, social factors contributing to modern poetry. Fifth, literary tendencies and innovations in modern poetry. And the last part will be the presentation of the references. The modern period in poetry, roughly spanning the late 19th century to the mid-20th century, was marked by significant shifts in style, form, and content. Poets challenged traditional conventions, experimenting with new techniques and exploring themes that reflected the complexities of the modern world. The modern period in poetry was a time of profound transformation, reflecting the dramatic changes taking place in the world. The Industrial Revolution, urbanization, and the rise of new technologies led to a sense of alienation, dislocation, and loss of traditional values. These shifts were reflected in the themes and imagery of modern poetry. Poets began to explore the complexities of modern life, such as the urban landscape, the impact of technology, and the psychological effects of industrialization. They challenged traditional poetic forms and experimented with new techniques such as free verse, fragmentation, and stream of consciousness. Modern poets often delved into the depths of the human psyche, exploring themes of alienation, disillusionment, and the search for meaning in a rapidly changing world. They were also interested in exploring the power of the subconscious mind and the role of dreams and imagination in shaping human experience. In addition to these themes, modern poets often addressed social and political issues such as inequality, injustice, and the horrors of wars. They used their poetry to raise awareness, challenge authority, and inspire social change. Let's proceed now to the definition of modern in modern poetry phrase. In the context of modern poetry, modern generally refers to a period of literary innovation and experimentation that emerged in the late 19th century and continued in the mid-20th century. It encompasses a wide range of poetic styles and techniques, departing from the more traditional forms and themes that characterized earlier periods. There are four characteristics of modern poetry. Number one, experimentation with form. Number two, focus on subjectivity. Number three, exploration of the subconscious. Number four, rejection of traditional values. For number one, the experimentation with form. Modern poets seeking to break free from the constraints of traditional poetic forms embraced new techniques that allowed for greater flexibility and expression. Indicators will follow: free verse, fragmentation, and stream of consciousness. Free verse. This form abandoned traditional metrical patterns and rhymes, allowing poets to focus on the rhythm and cadence of language rather than strict formal constraints. Fragmentation. Poems were often divided into short, disconnected sections, reflecting the fragmented nature of modern life and the poet's exploration of subjective experience. And the last one, the stream of consciousness. Poets attempted to capture the flow of thoughts and feelings without regard for traditional narrative structure, mimicking the inner workings of the human mind. For number two characteristic, focus on subjectivity. Modern poets shifted away from objective descriptions of the world and focused instead on their personal experiences, emotions, and perceptions. This subjective approach allowed them to explore the complexities of the human psyche and the subjective nature of reality. Indicators follow: personal reflections and psychological exploration. So, through personal reflections, poets often used poetry as a vehicle for self expression, delving into their own thoughts, feelings, and memories. For the psychological exploration, modern poets were interested in exploring the depths of the human psyche, often using psychological theories and concepts to understand and convey their experiences. The third characteristic of modern poetry is exploration of the subconscious. Many modern poets were drawn to the power of the subconscious mind and sought to tap into its depths through various techniques. So, indicators like surrealism and symbolism. Surrealist poets used automatic writing and dreamlike imagery to explore the subconscious mind, often defying traditional logic and reason. For symbolism, symbolist poets used symbols and images. They are different things to convey emotions and ideas indirectly, tapping into the subconscious mind to evoke deeper meanings. And the last characteristic of modern poetry, rejection of traditional values. Modern poets often question traditional beliefs and values, exploring themes of alienation, disillusionment, and the loss of meaning in the modern world. Indicators like social and political commentary, critique of traditional institutions, and existentialism are employed in modern poetry. For social and political commentary, poets addressed issues such as social injustice, political oppression, and the impact of industrialization on society. For the critique of traditional institutions, poets challenged the authority of traditional institutions such as the church and the state and explored the limitations of traditional ways of thinking. And the last one, the existentialism. Some modern poets embraced existentialist philosophy, exploring themes of meaninglessness, absurdity, and the individual's search for purpose in a chaotic world. In essence, modern poetry refers to a period of literary experimentation and innovation that reflected the changing landscape of the 20th century and challenged traditional notions of what poetry could be. So these are the famous modern poets and their notable works: T.S. Eliot, Ezra Pound, William Carlos Williams, Wallace Stevens, and Marianne Moore. So the first one is T.S. Eliot, 1888 to 1965. Thomas Stearns Eliot was an American-born British poet, essayist, and playwright. He is considered one of the 20th century's greatest poets and a central figure in English language modernist poetry. His use of language, writing style, and verse structure reinvigorated English poetry. So, the work of T.S. Eliot, which is The Wasteland, is a complex and elusive poem offers a bleak vision of modern Western civilization marked by spiritual and cultural decline. The poem's use of myth, Symbolism and fragmentation reflects the fragmentation and disillusionment of the post-World War II, War I era. So the second one is Ezra Pound. Ezra Pound was an American-born British poet, critic, and translator. He was a central figure in the modernist movement and is considered one of the most influential poets of 20th century. So his work, The Tree. The Tree is a short poem and uses the myth of Daphne to explore themes of transformation and enduring love. The tree represents a state of being that is both rooted and resilient. The poem's imagery is evocative and suggestive, suggesting a profound transformation. Overall, the tree invites readers to consider the ways in which we can both change and remain constant throughout our lives. His second work is The Mask. The Mask is a short poem and explores themes of identity, deception, and the nature of reality. The poem presents a speaker who is wearing a mask, suggesting a false or superficial appearance. The speaker questions whether their true self is hidden behind the mask or if the mask has become their true identity. The poem's imagery is evocative and suggestive, raising questions about the nature of perception and the relationship between the self and the world. Overall, Mask is a thought-provoking poem that invites reader to consider the complexities of identity and the illusion of reality. The third famous modern poet is William Carlos Williams. He was an American poet, physician, and writer. He is considered one of the most influential figures in American poetry of the 20th century. Known for his modernist style, his famous work was focused on everyday life and his use of free verse. So his work on The Red Wheelbarrow is a minimalist poem that consists of only 2 lines. So the poem describes a simple scene, a red wheelbarrow, glazed with rain, sitting beside a white fence. Despite its brevity, the poem is rich in imagery and evokes a sense of quiet contemplation. The juxtaposition of the red wheelbarrow and the white fence creates a striking visual contrast. The image of wheelbarrow glazed with rain suggests a sense of freshness and vitality. Overall, The Red Wheelbarrow is a powerful and evocative poem that invites readers to appreciate the beauty and simplicity of everyday objects. So we have the fourth famous modern poet, Wallace Stevens. He was an American poet and insurance executive. He is considered one of the most influential figures in American poetry of the 20th century, known for his philosophical explorations, his use of complex language, and his exploration of the nature of reality. So, his work, The Emperor of Ice Cream, is a short, surreal poem that explores themes of mortality, decay, and fleeting nature of life. The poem begins with a vivid image of a dead man in a parlor, surrounded by the trappings of life. The image of the Emperor of Ice Cream, a symbol of luxury and indulgence, is juxtaposed with the image of the dead man, creating a stark contrast between life and death. The poem's final lines suggest a sense of accepting and resignation in the face of mortality. Overall, The Emperor of Ice Cream is a powerful and thought-provoking poem that invites readers to consider the fragility of human life and the inevitability of death. His second work is The Man with the Blue Guitar. This work is a complex and enigmatic poem that explores themes of art, reality, and the nature of perception. The poem presents a mysterious figure who plays a blue guitar, symbolizing the artist or the poet. The poem's imagery is evocative and suggestive, raising questions about the relationship between art and reality. The blue guitar itself is a symbol of the artist's unique vision and their ability to create meaning from the chaos of the world. Overall, The Man with the Blue Guitar is a powerful and thought-provoking poem that invites readers to consider the role of art in our lives and the ways in which it can shape our understanding of the world. So last but not the least, Marianne Moore. Marianne Moore was an American poet known for her precise language, her use of unusual imagery, and her exploration of a wide range of subjects. She was a prominent figure in the modernist poetry movement. Her work, entitled A Grave, is a short, enigmatic poem that explores themes of death, mortality, and the natural world. The poem begins with a vivid image of a grave surrounded by trees and flowers. The imagery is both beautiful and haunting, suggesting the inevitability of death and the cycle of life and decay. The poem's final lines suggest a sense of peace and acceptance in the face of mortality. Overall, A Grave is a powerful and thought-provoking poem that invites readers to consider the meaning of life and death. Let us now proceed to social factors contributing to modern poetry. Number 1. So urbanization and industrialization, world wars, technological advancements, social and political changes, and the last one, psychological theories. So number 1, urbanization and industrialization. The rapid growth of cities and the rise of industrialization led to significant social and economic changes. These changes created a sense of alienation, dislocation, and loss of traditional values, which were reflected in the themes and imagery of modern poetry, somewhat like the work of T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland, and of course William Carlos Williams and Patterson. So next is World Wars. The First and Second World Wars had a profound impact on the world, leading to widespread suffering, loss, and disillusionment. These events shaped the perspectives of many modern poets who often explored themes of war, death, and the human conditions. So World War I and World War II happened, and it had profound impact on the poets of the modern era, leading to a sense of disillusionment and questioning of traditional values. So the third one, technological advancement. The development of new technologies such as the automobile and the telephone transformed society and created new ways of experiencing the world. These advancements influenced the themes and imagery of modern poetry, as poets sought to capture the pace and rhythm of modern life. In Ezra Pound's In a Station of the Metro and Wallace Stevens' Emperor of Ice Cream are just few examples of this factor. Number 4. social and political changes. The 20th century was a time of significant social and political change, including the rise of communism, fascism, and democracy. These events shaped the perspectives of many modern poets who often addressed issues of social justice, political oppression, and the human search for meaning. So the work of Langston Hughes, The We Wear Masks, wherein he addresses the racial injustices faced by African Americans in the early 20th century, and another work of Adrienne Rich's, The Driving into the Wreck. This is a feminist poem explores the themes of gender inequality and the challenges faced by women in patriarchal society. So the last contributing factor is the psychological theories. The development of psychological theories such as psychoanalysis and behaviorism had a significant impact on modern literature. These theories helped poets to explore the depths of the human psyche and the complexities of human behavior. So the work also of T.S. Eliot's The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock, wherein he delves into the fragmented psyche of a modern man, reflecting the influence of psychological theories on modern literature. Another one is the work of Sylvia Plath's Daddy. This is a confessional poem which explores themes of mental illness, trauma, and the complexities of the father-daughter relationship, drawing on psychological concepts to understand the human psyche. So these social factors combined to create a unique cultural and intellectual climate that fostered the development of modern poetry. The poets of this era responded to the challenges and opportunities of their time, creating a rich and diverse body of work that continues to resonate with readers. So let us now proceed to the last subtopic of this report, the literary tendencies and innovations in modern poetry, which include free verse, imagism, symbolism, surrealism, stream of consciousness, fragmentation, and experimentation with language. Modern poetry was characterized by a significant departure from traditional poetic forms and themes. Poets experimented with new techniques and explored subjects that reflected the complexities of the modern world. So here are some of the key literary tendencies and innovations. Let's start off with the free verse. Okay, this free verse, with an example of a work by T.S. Eliot, The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock, is an iconic modernist poem which is written in free verse, allowing Eliot to explore the fragmented thoughts and emotions of speakers. So if you have observed, there are no patterns, there are no somewhat like the rhythm, not even in rhyme. So it's a free verse. The next one is the imagism. In a station of the metro by Ezra Pound, so it has only 2 lines. This famous imagist poem consists of only 2 lines. The apparition of these faces in the crowd, petals on a wet black bow. The poem's brevity and clarity, along with its use of vivid imagery, are hallmarks of the imagist style. So, number 3, the symbolism. Symbolism, it was employed in the work of T.S. Eliot, The Waste Land. So this complex modernist poem is filled with symbols and allusions such as the Fisher King, the Grail, and the barren wasteland, which represent the spiritual and cultural decline of Western civilization. So the fourth one is the surrealism. So by Jennifer O'Grady's The Surrealist Learns to Fly. is a captivating exploration of the subconscious mind through surrealist imagery. The poem delves into themes of isolation, the passage of time, and the search for meaning. By employing vivid and unexpected imagery, O'Grady creates a dreamlike atmosphere that invites the reader to explore the depths of their own imagination. The poem's defiance of traditional logic and its focus on the subconscious make it a powerful and thought-provoking work that captures the essence of surrealist poetry. The fifth one is The Stream of Consciousness by T.S. Eliot again, in the work Prufrock, is a notable example of a stream of consciousness poetry. So the poem's fragmented structure, internal monologue, and focus on subjective experience create a sense of disjointedness and randomness, mirroring the chaotic nature of human thought. The speaker's thoughts jump from one image to another, reflecting the subjective nature of perception and the difficulty of connecting with the world around him. This disjointed style allows readers to delve into the speaker's inner world and experience the complexities of his thoughts and feelings. So second to the last, The Fragmentation by Hugh Selwyn Moberly. So it was written by Ezra Pound. This modernist poem is divided into fragmented sections, reflecting the fragmented nature of modern life and the speaker's sense of disillusionment. The poem's use of short, disconnected lines and its reliance on allusion and symbolism are examples of fragmentation. The last innovation is the experimentation with language. The Red Wheelbarrow by William Carlos Williams is an example of this. This famous imagist poem uses simple, everyday language to create a vivid and memorable image. The poem's resilience on concrete language and its avoidance of abstract language are examples of experimentation with language. Another work under this innovation is The Emperor of Ice Cream by Wallace Stevens. This surrealist poem uses unusual imagery and language to explore themes of mortality and the fleeting nature of life. The poem's use of unexpected metaphors and its playful language are examples of experimentation with language. So to end this, I would like to have a conclusion. The modern poetry movement was a time of profound innovation and experimentation, reflecting the dramatic changes taking place in the world. Poets challenged traditional conventions, exploring new themes and techniques that captured the complexities of modern life. Through their exploration of subjectivity, the subconscious, and the rejection of traditional values, modern poets created a rich and diverse body of work that continues to resonate with readers today. Their legacy lives on in the innovative approaches and thought-provoking themes that have shaped the course of poetry in the 20th and 21st centuries. And last, these are the references I used for this presentation. So that's all. Thank you for this. God bless.